Now to Massachusetts and Provincetown, which was recently cited by the US Centers for Disease Control and health experts as an example of the highly contagious nature of the Delta variant, even among the fully vaccinated. Provincetown, a holiday destination, has one of the highest vaccination rates in the US. But after 4th of July festivities, cases unexpectedly surged. In the weeks that followed, 469 residents tested positive for COVID. Almost 75% of those cases were so-called breakthrough cases, or those among fully vaccinated people. However, only 4 ended up in hospital, none of whom died. The Provincetown outbreak was behind new mask guidance from the CDC. We can now speak to Jeremy Hobson, a journalist and former host on National Public Radio. He lives in Provincetown and joins us from there now. Jeremy, very good to have you on the programme. Was it a surprise for people in Provincetown to see cases rise so quickly?
It was, and I think that the reason is, as you said, this is one of the most vaccinated places in the entire country. Everybody felt when things opened up, which happened actually at the end of May, that things were safe. The government told you could go inside a bar, you didn't have to wear a mask, you didn't have to socially distance, and that's what people did on July 4th. But the 4th of July weekend, 60,000 people came into this town, which is 3,000 population year-round. It was packed. It was raining. People were inside crowded bars. And then we started to see cases, a lot of cases, come out of this Provincetown cluster. The good news, as you said, is because so many people were vaccinated, we've only had a handful of hospitalizations. And at this point, they're starting to see the active cases go down. There have been no deaths from this cluster.
How closely is the CDC watching what's happening in Provincetown, and what effect is that having on the wider United States?
Well, they've said that their new mask guidance for vaccinated people across the country is in part because of what they saw happen in Provincetown, that they saw that people who are vaccinated could become infected with the Delta variant and even could possibly transmit it to other people who are also vaccinated or unvaccinated. I think if you look across the country, though, the interesting thing is, especially because of the politics and the divisions in this country, and a lot of people who are very against the idea of vaccination on the right, a lot of people who are very against the idea of masks, they don't want to see a mandate come down from the government. And you can see that politicians are being very careful about saying, we are going to mandate that you get vaccinated. There instead, people like the governor of New York just said, we'd like businesses to mandate that people be vaccinated to go inside, whether they're an employee or a customer, but stopping short of actually saying it's required that everybody in the country be vaccinated.
You mentioned that ahead of the July 4th celebrations, bars were open, restaurants were open, parties were being held. It felt normal. Does it feel like you've gone back in time now again, back to this kind of era of wearing masks again? How do people in Provincetown feel?
I think that there are mixed reactions. There are some people who look at what's happening and say, look, we need to shut down again. We need to put mask mandates back in. And others are saying, look, there's never going to be an all clear. This virus is going to go on for some time, especially given the amount of unvaccinated people in the United States. And we need to learn to live with it. And maybe the best way to live with it is to require that people be vaccinated to go into certain places. Because, look, the nation's top infectious disease specialist, Anthony Fauci, said today, if you're vaccinated, you are 25 times less likely to end up in the hospital or die from coronavirus, even with this new Delta variant.
Jeremy Hobson joining us from Provincetown, Massachusetts. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Rich.